Hi folks, and welcome to a brand new episode of CNB here on the NDTV network. I'm Siddharth Vinayak Partnkar. As you can tell, it's a very different setting that we have on the program for you today. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag just yet, so you'll have to wait and see what kind of surprises we have in store for you. Instead, let's talk about a brand new car that's just driven into our market, and you are pretty curious about it. I'm not talking about the Tata Zest because we've already showed you this review before. We have more on this car, but that's later. First, let's start talking about the all-new second-generation i20 from Hyundai. Now, this car is something the company claims is going to revolutionize its particular segment, become a benchmark of sorts. Is that claim really true? Bala has had some chance to spend some time with the car, get to know it, drive it. Here's his review.
It was a fitting replacement for the very smart Getz, and so when we first saw it in 2008, we liked it. Then 4 years later, the midlife makeover in 2012 had it go partly fluidic. And so to say that the second generation Hyundai i20 has some big shoes to fill would be an understatement. Hyundai's recent global unveiling in India was proof that the car maker is intent on getting its domestic market focus right. But it was also a subtle hint that the new Elite i20 didn't want to give the new Volkswagen Polo or the Fiat Punto Evo much of a head start. And so we get it before even a global unveil that will happen in October at the Paris show.
Now, the previous generation i20 with the fluidic design philosophy had a lot going for it, especially with the curves and the smooth lines. But things are a lot more straighter with the Elite i20, which is a lot more sharper and, as you can see, a lot more European really in terms of overall design. Now, Hyundai says it wants to transform the image of the i20 from it being a lot more youthful in terms of design to now being a lot more bolder. Now, most of you have been reacting fairly strongly on our CNB Facebook page on the new design on the Elite i20. At least for me, I can tell you that it was not love at first sight when I saw the car, but I'm hopeful that it will start growing on me as I get to know it.
Growing up isn't always bad, especially when it comes to car design, and so the new Fluidic 2.0 styling allows the new i20 to look bold, and the big focus is to now have one uniform family look across all Hyundai cars of the future, instead of keeping the smaller ones different to the high-end ones, as we saw with the first-gen Fluidic sculpture design. The hexagonal grille and the swept-back headlamps are prime definers of the new design look. Strangely, no daytime running lights, which made quite a statement on the outgoing model. Wonder why? A pleasant surprise are the 16-inch wheels that show up on the two top-end trims. Of course, the entry variants will get 14 inches and so won't look quite as ample. The rear is where the car really scores. It really is Alfa Romeo meets Veloster. High-riding tail lamps that are beautifully sculpted. But then there is the blacked out C-pillar, which could have been done in a glossy or glass finish. The plastic piece may not age well in Indian conditions.
Now, the Elite i20 has a nice and pleasant cabin with the dual-tone beige and black interiors, as well as the dashboard neatly laid out. What is really impressive is the attention to detail Hyundai has given to the fit and finish inside the cabin. The quality of the plastics are really good and feel really premium. What's also impressive that you will really like is this. While it's idling, it's fairly quiet. So this is Hyundai, so expect lots of features inside the cabin. You guys go have a look at the features while I hop onto the rear seat and check out the space there.
It's Europe ahoy with the interior styling, and the better plastics are a relief in a market that is slipping on this off late. The 3-spoke steering wheel has a nice upmarket feel to it, and it comes with lots of controls mounted on it. A steering sensitive rear parking camera, front armrest with storage, a 2-DIN audio system with 1 GB storage. These are some of the highlights that you get on the top end trims. We'd have liked to see a touchscreen multimedia interface, and the other big grouse? Dual airbags are only on the topmost variant, the Asta. There is a driver-only airbag offered in the Sports, and the entry variants Era and Magna have no airbags or ABS.
The Elite i20 has the longest wheelbase in its segment, and so space is not a problem here in the rear seat. Now this seat has been pushed to its normal driving position, and you can see the amount of legroom that's available, plenty and plenty of it, making it a lot more comfortable. Also the seats are firm and comfortable with good under thigh support. Also the shoulder area is quite nice, lots of room available. Seating 3 might be a little bit of a squeeze, but what will add to the overall comfort are the rear AC vents, which doesn't block the passage too much, but will certainly add more comfort to the overall experience of sitting in the rear seat.
Compare the hatch to its rivals and even the Ford EcoSport, and you will see that the Elite's i20 wheelbase is a winner. Boot space has shrunk a bit compared to the outgoing model, but it's still good enough to fit a couple of medium-sized suitcases quite easily. Besides its good looks, the outgoing i20 model didn't exactly set our hearts on fire with its performance on the road, but it still managed to offer decent driving dynamics. This has improved a bit with Hyundai adding a bit more zing to the petrol engine and more refinement to the diesel hatch.
Now what I really like about the diesel engine on the new Elite i20 is the linear delivery of power, and you really get a sense of that out on the highway when you put your foot down on the pedal. The smooth acceleration really kicks in and you've got a lot of fun out on the highway, especially with this 6-speed gearbox, which is quick and responsive. So this is a fun car out on the highway, no doubt. Remember how I talked about how quiet the diesel engine was while it was idling? And I'm quite happy to report that even at high speeds, the engine doesn't get too loud. The NVH levels inside the cabins are really impressive, making the overall drive a lot more enjoyable.
Hyundai hasn't brought us a new range of engines on the i20, and so it's the same family that's been slightly updated. The 1.4-litre U2 diesel engine loves being on the open road and delivers 89 bhp of power and an impressive 220 Nm of torque. The 6-speed gearbox is only available mated to the diesel. The 1.2-litre petrol engine has been tweaked to offer more low and mid-range power, 82 bhp on tap and 115 Nm of torque. The petrol variant is mated to the 5-speed manual. Do expect an automatic to follow soon on the new i20. Impressive fuel economy figures too, with the petrol offering 18 kilometers to the litre and diesel giving 22. Compare that with the competition and you can see that the i20 is an attractive package. The big leap for the i20 is how much better it handles when compared to the earlier car. That was the one big chink in its armour, and the company has tried to address it, again keeping European buyers in mind. And we're not complaining. The Indian car has a softer suspension setup over the one that Europe will get though, to help negotiate bad patches of roads better. The 170 mm ground clearance is pretty impressive as well. The steering has improved now and the car corners better too. Overall, the new i20 feels more confident in its ride and handling, which is a good thing. Bottom line, the new i20 is a good replacement for the successful first-generation car. The introductory prices are fairly attractive too, with the petrol variant starting at 4,89,000 rupees and the diesel i20s will top off at the Asta being priced at 7,67,000 rupees ex-showroom Delhi. Staying below 8 lakhs has been a smart move from Hyundai. That's not as attractive as the new Punto Evo, for instance. But now the real battle will begin when Honda launches the 3rd generation Jazz in diesel and petrol by the start of the new year.